You are listening to Pocketful of Diamonds, Book 7 of the Nadia Wolf series, written by Nicolette Pierce. Copyright 2016. Audio copyright 2025 by Pierced Heart Publishing. Digitally narrated with full cast of voices.
Chapter 22. Gwen floated in the water next to Ian. He had something on his mind. Ian had asked Duvine too many exploratory questions for it not to be the case. "Are we here to swim, or are you going to tell me what's on your mind?" Gwen finally asked.
I can't fool you, can I?
"You just heard disturbing news about Najamba less than an hour ago. I doubt you'd want to take a dip unless you wanted to talk without being overheard."
We seem to be in the middle of a war that doesn't belong to us. What do you think about pinning Duvine against the others?
"How?"
From what Duvine said, it sounds as if everyone thinks the diamonds are still in Sierra Leone. They'll make life intolerable for Najamba until they find me or the diamonds. Why don't we let them know where they can find both?
"They'll come here.
Yes.
There'd be no escape."
I was thinking of calling in a favor.
"You can't make a call. Duvine will know."
I'm pretty sure he doesn't speak Millerese.
"Millerese? You're making that up." Ian tried unsuccessfully to keep a straight face.
Of course, about 25 years ago.
"You have a made-up language with your brothers?"
It's helped in many scrapes.
"Well, if you think we can make an escape with Dad before the others arrive, then I agree. But what about the diamonds? They'll rip this place apart to find them."
Perhaps a pretty thief could take me on a tour. We are, after all, on a honeymoon, and I could use a change of scenery. If we happen to find sparkling stones as a souvenir. He shrugged.
Gwen smiled wide and wrapped her arms around him. "I'm sure you can persuade her." Ian laughed and kissed her. This could work. It had to. Something had to change for the better. After Ian made a call to Grayson, leaving a short encrypted message on his voicemail, they went on their first tour. Gwen hadn't understood a single thing Ian had said, so she was sure Duvine wouldn't either. In fact, she was sure he might think Ian insane. It sounded as if a zoo had escaped with all of Ian's roars, hee-hawing, and other various animal sounds. She didn't ask Ian exactly what he had said. From their previous conversation, she had the general gist of his plan. Her job was to find the diamonds and pilfer them. Easier said than done. Gwen had searched much of this place before, but never found a single stone. Since she never dared enter Duvine's quarters, which took up a vast majority of space in the East Wing, she knew there were many more places to search. But for now, she would show Ian all of the common areas. Maybe he could find a clue that she had overlooked. Duvine was sneaky enough to hide something in plain sight. Ian's fresh eyes could be beneficial.
Where does Duvine normally spend his time?
Ian asked as they left the atrium and continued to the library. "I'm not really sure. He tends to stick to the East Wing. I've never been to that side. Too many minions."
Do they stop you?
"No, but they watch as if on guard."
Any rooms in particular?
"I don't know. I was so creeped out I left right away. I figured we could try again together. Perhaps you can ask Duvine for a tour tonight after dinner."
I doubt he'll agree.
"He might. He's narcissistic enough to want to prove his superiority. I believe he has other collections as well, but I don't know that for certain. It's just a hunch I have from being here."
I'll see if I can twist his arm. Before dinner, I need to make another call to Grayson. I told him I'd ring at about 5 our time.
"I hate to tell you, but I've never heard a more ridiculous language. Millerese? More like Zoo-ese.
What do you expect from 3 boys under the age of 10?
Something more than bull snorting and wolf howls." He leaned over, his lips next to her ear.
Shall I teach you a few words later tonight? I guarantee there are a few that will make you howl.
She shivered at the soft words that held intriguing promises. "Maybe 1 or 2 words. When his smile turned wolfish, she wished they could finish this search, forget dinner, and have a Millerese conversation right on the plush library carpet. He was a pro at muddling her mind and causing havoc in her body.
The dinner started out quiet. Whenever Ian asked Duvine a question, it was answered in 3 words or less. He wondered if his phone calls had anything to do with Duvine's current mood. Grayson hadn't answered the call again, so Ian left another message during which Gwen tried unsuccessfully to hold back laughter. There had been a reason the brothers abandoned the code later in life. It was too embarrassing once they were older, but he doubted Grayson had forgotten it, even after all this time.
You are very quiet tonight, Duvine. I hope there are no problems in Sierra Leone.
Sierra Leone?
Duvine looked up from his plate.
No, I haven't heard.
Gwen let the subject drop, but Ian wasn't willing to give up so easily. If Duvine kept his silence, it'd be harder to invite themselves into his quarters later. And if he wasn't keeping abreast of the situation in Sierra Leone, what was occupying his mind? It had to be the phone calls. It was the only explanation for Duvine's sudden mood change. Ian hoped this wouldn't affect any of their plans. I want to thank you for allowing me to use your phone, Ian said. My brother keeps my dog at his house. I normally call him once a day, or he'll whine. The dog, not Grayson. But if I don't call, Grayson will get on me too. He only took the dog because I said I was going on vacation. Ian smiled good-naturedly. That was over 5 years ago, and he hasn't forgiven me yet.
And what do you say to your dog?
You'll think it's silly, and I admit it's rather embarrassing if anyone overhears, but I speak animal language. All animals. For whatever reason, he loves it.
And you do this every day?
I try to. Ian shrugged. It's only a few seconds of my time, and it spares my brother a headache. He couldn't believe the lies he was spouting. It was becoming easier to manipulate words and shape them into a false reality. It made him feel like a colossal jerk for coming down hard on Gwen when he was doing the exact same thing. Do you have any other pets here besides the birds and the cat? The creepy cat? Or did you have any as a child? When Duvine didn't answer, Ian wondered if he saw through the lies. It was obvious that something was bothering him.
Duvine is probably too busy with work to bother with a menagerie of pets.
Gwen broke in.
It takes a lot to run his empire with such smooth efficiency. I'm sure he doesn't even have time for hobbies.
Thankful to Gwen for keeping the conversation moving, Ian added, My hobby used to be traveling. I haven't had a chance to do any traveling for pleasure in a long time. Well, except for now. He winked at Gwen, who blushed. He hadn't ever remembered her blushing before. Did she fake it? If so, Ian was impressed. Gwen has been showing me your lovely home. The library is amazing. We were even able to play a game of billiards in the... He looked to Gwen. What was that room again? Gwen pressed her lips together to keep a smile at bay.
The game room.
Oh yes, of course. It was the game room. Such a great place. 2 minions took away their plates and replaced them with dessert. Duvine waved away his and stood. Ian scrambled to stand as well, wondering what was about to happen. Duvine motioned for him to sit again.
Please enjoy dessert. I just have to check on a few things. Good evening.
Ian sank back down in the chair and poked at the chocolate mousse until Duvine disappeared through the door on the opposite side of the room. It was the same door through which the minion had taken the bag of diamonds. Ian flicked his eyes at the door, silently questioning Gwen. She looked at the door and then at the minion standing at it. She cleared her throat and stood, picking up her mousse.
Would you like to finish dessert on the terrace?
I'd love to. Anything to get out of here. He still wasn't positive the floor wouldn't open and drop them into a shark tank.
Gwen settled at the table on the wide terrace that overlooked the ocean and glanced around her. She couldn't see anyone else, but that didn't mean anything. There were still ways for them to be overheard. Why don't we eat dessert and then go on a walk on the beach? Gwen suggested, dipping her spoon into the whipped chocolate. It's such a lovely night.
I'd love to, The weather here has been a nice break from Najamba.
It is nice, but you probably haven't noticed the heat as much since we're either in air conditioning or the water.
True, but I have noticed the air conditioning. It's a bit cold at night.
You never seem cold.
You keep me occupied.
A lopsided smile accompanied a little wink. He was too adorable for words, and Gwen wanted to keep him occupied some more. However, they did need to talk before they abandoned all thought. "Tell me about your dog," Gwen said to keep the conversation moving. The corners of Ian's lips curled in amusement.
He's a sweet dog, a bit on the big side, which irritates Grayson. He continually complains about Fritz sneaking up on the bed and hogging it entirely.
He could close his door.
Fritz is very smart.
"Will you ever go back and get him?" Ian sat back and eyed Gwen.
One day, when I have a reason to go back.
And what reason would that be?
Family.
Gwen felt that word as it shimmered down to her toes. That simple word was filled with promise she didn't dare to clarify. Once she had thought about marrying and having a family of her own, but that ended when Duvine had taken over her life. With Ian, he made her believe again. They were already married, and she had thought that would never happen. So maybe there was a tiny spark of hope for the future. Unfortunately, they still needed to deal with Duvine.